Oh my goodness. Welcome to Screenfish Radio. I am so glad you could join us as we are taking our trip to the land of Oz to talk about Wicked for Good. And I have two wonderful guests here who I would never refer to witches because unless that's a good thing, I guess it depends on how you view it. But I am so thrilled to have my dear friends, Catherine Erskine and Deb Whalen, return. Welcome to you both.
And I realize we're both redheads too,
Hey.
so we could be witches.
We
Wait a
qualify on
minute.
so many levels. And for the record, I will take the label.
Yeah.
Screenfish is not endorsing any particular views of redheads in any way, shape, or form. We appreciate people of all hair colors.
Give us
Or
your
witches, I
soul.
hope.
or witches. Oh my goodness, I am looking forward to this. Wicked for Good is once again directed by Jon M. and is set shortly after the events of the first film, as Elphaba finds herself in the crosshairs of the wizard. Despite hiding from his flying monkeys and elite military, she remains committed to exposing the wizard's lies to a world that remains devoted to him. At the same time, Glinda has climbed the ranks within the government as their resident good witch. However, while she gleefully prepares to marry Prince Fiero, she is still haunted by her separation from her former bestie. As Glinda works towards restoring the relationship between Elphaba and the wizard, what happens next will change their lives for good. As always,
Is
this
that the
podcast is
description?
rated. That was too much?
Oh, was that your description or the
That was
description?
mine. I wrote it.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought you
I
were reading
liked
off of
it.
the IMDb.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did.
It's
Thank you.
good. Very good, Steve.
And as always, this podcast is rated S for spoilers and spells.
And
Um,
sassiness.
and we haven't even gotten into it yet. Um, Kat, Deb, what did you think of Wicked for Good?
Do you want to go
Kat, you
first,
go
Deb?
first. No, you.
Okay. As someone who just saw it once, and also I did not get the green memo, but I am the Wicked Witch of the East legs under the house with her black and white tights. Uh, um, I went into this with big expectations, but I was also nervous because we know that follow-ups can always be like a bit of a letdown. And I will say that coming into it, you end on such a high energy thing in the first movie, and then you come into the second, and it's kind of retelling the story and finishing it. I thought that it was well done. I thought that the all of the props and everything were extremely well done as they were in the first one. And of course I cried multiple times during it. I feel that it was a great movie. I love that I saw it on the big screen. And there's lots of little tidbits that I want to talk about later, I'm sure. But overall, I think I agree with some of the reviews that I've seen where it could have said this could have just been one really long good movie. And there was a lot of it was so well done that I don't want to say it was just filler, but there was a lot of filler and a lot of stuff that wasn't true to um the musical, right? Like some of the sing together in the musical, some of the other stuff that goes on is different. The Fiero and Elphaba scene is like tamed down incredibly when they're in there. They're
Is
doing
it?
in this moment. Yes, they had to. They could not even let them get like come close to kissing because they had to keep
They
their
do
rating
kiss in the
level
film.
very mildly, right? Like once I think.
Right at the end of the scene.
Yeah,
That's the
right at
way it
the
is
end,
in the
and
that's
then
the way
it
it is in the
cut.
play.
In the play, it's a little bit, they're in the fog. They're like, it's a
Hmm?
different like aspect,
You
but
know what
they,
fog means.
right?
Wait,
It's a
what does
little
the
bit more,
fog
I
say?
don't know. But they did it specifically that way to keep it in the rating that they wanted. Like, and
That
so
tracks.
yeah, so I reading up on it later, it was talking about that. Um, I will say no good deed is flawless, like 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, the way they did it. But yeah, there were a few things that I found really different, like when the house fell on Nessa, they didn't show the feet under because in the movie they come and she sees the feet with the ruby shoes.
In The
And I
Wizard of
learned,
Oz.
yeah, the Wizard of Oz. And I learned that they I just zoomed in on Steve. I learned that those ruby shoes are incredibly copyrighted by the original production house or like, studios that did it. So they weren't allowed to show the ruby slippers. And the only way they got around that was when she's floating, they get hot. So that's kind of the nod to the ruby. And I was like, okay. I also the whole like Tin Man, Lion, and like Scarecrow part, like how does Bach go from like this meek guy to like yeah, like he just has this like massive outlook.
Because he
I felt
doesn't
like,
have a heart anymore.
oh yeah, you know what? There you go.
Schwink.
That's why, because he was just like, I'm like, okay, settle down, Bach. And the lion has no claim to be upset at freaking Elphaba because she freed you from a cage. She saved your life, but she may have abandoned you. But I found that part a little bit like choppy because like where's the scarecrow? Oh, he sent a message already, and how are we to know this? And blah blah blah. And like Elphaba's not is not supposed to is not thinking she's still alive because she doesn't think that she would melt, but maybe she does. So it's a lot to say. I think it was good. I think it could have been done really well in one movie. And I definitely cried and sang in the theater to under my breath. I was polite.
Thank you.
Yes, I was like whisper singing. I was like, no good deed goes
Of all the songs, that's the one. That's the one you decided to whisper. Like the
I
power
whispered all of
ballad.
them. Yeah,
Amazing.
that's really it. But I really am excited to hear what you think, Deb. Like seeing it twice because I had thoughts even days after leaving.
Yeah, I so Steve and I went to see it together. I got to tag along on his media pass.
Ooh.
And so we went last Monday, and I actually I love telling people because they're like, "Oh my gosh, you know people in media?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's the
No, you know
podcaster."
me. That's that's
You're in media.
like
He's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And so
no.
yeah, coming out of it the first time, I wasn't dazzled.
Oh, okay.
Steve and I talked about it a little bit afterwards, and the feeling between us was that it's very much like the second act of a show.
Hmm.
It's a little deeper. There's more conflict. People are dealing with the consequences of their earlier decisions in the first act when everything was exciting and it was all fun and the
Yeah.
oohs and ahs. And then in the second act, you're sort of dealing with the fallout
Yeah.
and figuring out whether or not you can actually, you know, keep your money where your mouth has gone, cash the
Hmm.
checks that, your mouth has signed. So, um, and whether or not that worked in a movie setting for me was a bit challenging. So
Yeah.
the first time I walked away from it, I felt that it was rather slow.
Mm.
I also kind of felt like the music sort of stopped the action. It's like something happened, then the songs described what happened, and then it moved on. And so it just felt really
Filler.
choppy for me.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. Um, and then, like there's some good bits in the end where it landed, but I
Hmm.
wasn't deeply satisfied.
Hmm.
So the other you were talking about the musical, Cat, but my original interaction with this story was reading the book.
Oh, yeah.
And like that's a whole other, can of worms
Yeah.
because the musical is so different to the book. And so like there's some resignation that, is in it for me. But even like at the very beginning, you see all these animals, under
Mm.
duress being forced to, they're slaves, they're being put to work to build this capitalistic,
Yeah.
colonizing yellow brick road. And I leaned over to Steve and I was like, okay, this is what was missing from the musical.
Yeah, it's true.
Because the book is so
It is.
political and it deals with capitalistic themes and colonization and political stuff that I really, really like ate up. Um, and a lot it's just very toned down in the musical. So seeing I was
Yeah.
hoping for more of that in the movie and they gave it to me right at the beginning and then it was again, I wanted more. I wanted more.
Yeah.
But going to see it the second time, um I was able to piece more together and I found it way more satisfying.
Mhm.
Thinking about how they dealt with the theme of power in Act Two,
Mhm.
in this film in particular, uh, I found I found really moving, really powerful, if you will, because Elphaba knows where, like, she has power and she knows what she wants to do with it. And
Yeah.
contrasting that to Glinda, um, where we learn, early on in her life,
Mhm.
we see her at this birthday party and she's given a magic wand and all she's ever wanted is to be magical. And she tries casting a spell and it doesn't work. She's like, "Oh, I didn't say the spell and it still doesn't work except that it does because there's a rainbow out the window." And so she
Yeah.
takes credit for that. And her mom says to her, "It's okay, you are well liked and that's all that ever matters."
Yes.
And so at an early age we see where she has her sense of power.
Yep.
But as an adult, she's realizing that there are limits to that. She's limited. Um, And so, yeah, seeing her struggle through that, I was able to connect that better the second time. And I don't know if it was just because I went looking, I looked a little bit
Yeah.
harder, or just because there's so much going on when you first see a film. Like I'm a multiple viewer kind of person. I've watched all my favorite movies and television shows multiple times over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew I wanted to see it a second time after the first viewing, and the second time was much more satisfying, much more for me.
That's so funny when like not funny. It's so interesting that you talk about that power because you're right. Like I actually read the book. It was a slog for me. It was a long thing, but the animals being present more and starting off with that was really actually amazing. And then she sings, I don't know, it was the original song about like there's no place like home when they're all in
Hmm.
there and then the monkeys kind of see, oh, she wasn't really doing a bad thing to us. She was doing better. And I do like Glinda's storyline in that she is still friends with her. She knows and they visit and they see each other, but she's so stuck in her
Yeah.
own. And it's not a happy place, I feel like, for her because she is literally being controlled by a woman who hates her. Like someone pointed out online that her big line was wands need they have a point. And the wand that she's given is has hundreds of points on it. And it's almost yeah. So and she had brought that up with what's her name? Miss Morble?
Madame
Yeah.
Morrible.
Madame
Yeah.
Morrible. She had said that at the first movie, like, oh, did you get my thing? Need they have a point? So it's almost like Miss Morrible, Madame Morrible is doing this on purpose because she doesn't like her. And so putting that wand down at the end, I felt was really in her
Mm.
taking her power back as well, because she's like, I don't need this multi-pointed thing to make me good. But I do like her little storyline, even down to the point where she's like, you just have to be liked. So she's like, yeah, we're gonna get married to Fiyero. Like that's just how it is. That's what you do, you become a princess, you marry a prince, and you do that. And it wasn't until after that she found that out, but yeah, Jeff Goldblum's character was ridiculous in this one too. Like he's just a wizard
When
and
is Jeff Goldblum not ridiculous?
I know,
He's
right?
the best at being ridiculous.
And that CGI of his face being younger at the end,
Okay, that was dodgy. That was
I
dodgy.
couldn't look.
so terrible.
Yeah, I was saddened by that. But
I wish that they had just spliced in, a clip from like The Fly.
maybe they did.
That
As the
that would
fly,
that
that
would
would
have
be
been more
even better.
satisfying.
Like,
As the
in all
fly.
seriousness, just make up, put like bathe them in makeup. It's a bare shot from that's passing. Like you don't have to zoom in on him or anything. Like it that didn't need to
Yeah.
be de-aged. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
another issue. But
Yeah. Steve, what's your take on this here fine film?
okay, I agree in the sense that the first time I saw it, I was a little bit dissatisfied. However, I gave it a lot more slack, I think, than you did because I knew that they had padded it a
Right.
lot. They
Yeah, they have
padded
the
it,
original songs.
but they padded it more than they did the first half. That's what I was saying to Deb when we came out. I said, like, the first half's like in 90 minutes and the movie's 215. The second half of the play is like 50 minutes and it's 215. So there's a lot more
Mm.
padding going on. However, while I probably could have trimmed, if I were editing this, probably could have trimmed 20 minutes from it.
Oh yeah, at least.
Um, I wouldn't have taken much more. And the idea of making it into one film, it could have been very good. I do not think it would have been great.
No, it would have been pushed. Like I feel like you would have had to have intermissions, like when we saw the Titanic in theaters, because I'm a
Right.
100 years old.
Well, we're very used to 2.5 to 3 hour movies now. Like
Yeah,
I think
now,
we could do
yeah.
it. However, I this is where I would say too, the burden of legacy from the
Mhm.
Wizard of Oz on this plays a great role, in
Yeah.
my opinion, because if you come out and you just, give a half effort on a film like this, you're going to be roasted, even if the music's great. And I think because of the legacy of Wizard of Oz is probably still held up to be in the top 10 films ever made in terms of impact. You could debate whether or not it's the
Sure.
best film, but in terms of impact.
It was the first film we had in color,
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
right?
it
Like,
really
and there was
was.
so much that that feature alone influenced how they told that story. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's so much legacy with it.
And more than that, it's an epic film in color. It's not just that it was a bunch of people in their house arguing in color. Like this is a grand, expansive world.
Yeah, like she comes
Yeah.
down in a bubble.
For crying out loud. And I would say, and I've said this multiple times and gotten in trouble for it, and I still stand by it. I do believe
Bring
that
it.
Wicked, the two Wicked films held together are the Lord of the Rings of Broadway musicals on screen. And I stand by this for multiple reasons. First of all,
Yeah, you better explain.
I will. Because first of all, I mean, you could also make the point that they're epic films. The depth of land in this film, in these two films, is expansive. This is not Dreamgirls, which is focused on people in a nightclub. This is again open world.
Right.
You have to do that well.
Hmm.
Um, Also, you've taken a pre-existing, uh, well-beloved text, musical or book in the case of Lord of the Rings, and recreated the world which with such detail that you can't deny the skill in making this look incredible.
Hmm.
Mm,
You could even throw Dune in this conversation in terms of these expansive worlds that people thought this couldn't be done well.
right.
And Wicked, even though I think I can nitpick on this could be cut and this couldn't be, or this or the other thing, is 5 hours of a 2.5 hour musical, and it is excellent across the board. Like Lord of the Rings has films that are not great, but beloved. I get it. I
Hmm.
get it. They're not my
Yeah.
films. You can love them. That's fine. But I'm just saying, like, some films are better than others of the three. And I would argue that in terms of Broadway musicals brought to the screen, this has followed a similar pattern in that it tried to expand it and nail that detail. Now, if you want me to get into Wicked for good, just on its own,
Kind of
like
why we're here.
that's why we're here. But I do think of the two, it's a lesser film. However, it's also a lesser half of the play. It is. And I think that Chew delivers much more interesting conversations. I noticed the second time around than I did the first.
You saw
And
it twice too?
I did.
I am ill prepared. I'm seeing it
I,
again in a week, but
I
There
just
you
really
go.
appreciate I really appreciated what they did the second, like by the second time around. And I'm also like that sometimes. I do have this weird hang up, and I have many weird hang ups, but one of them is that if there's a film I love, and then you give me the sequel, it sometimes takes me more than one watch to even appreciate it
mhm.
because my love of the first, I need to process it it's different. I found this with so many other films that I've enjoyed. It's like, okay, this is a new entry. How do I feel about it?
Right.
Um, but I felt that this nailed the play. And the play itself is a very expansive play, but it's still only on a stage. So this
Right.
somehow, to me, uh, managed to balance those two worlds very, very well. I think Erivo, Grande's never really been on my radar as a fabulous actress. She's funny. I've liked her on SNL. But I've never viewed her as a fabulous actress. She's remarkable in this. I think Erivo is
Yeah.
Mhm.
remarkable in
Agreed.
this. Um, I will say this. This will ruin the movie for me. I am deathly afraid of them, what I'm hearing about them making multiple sequels and side stories
They
because
won't.
Mm.
they're talking about it now. They're talking about it now.
Anything to make a buck. Go
Sacrilege.
Hollywood.
But see,
I
that's
won't
what
watch the.
bugs me is it's like this is the play.
Yeah.
Like that's great. You did the play. And even if the next one is good, it's the play. This was not a franchise, it's a play. Let it be the play.
Okay, but
It must be just
the
rumors though.
the but even if it's not, like even if they are working on it, the play is, a spin of a book that was
Yeah.
written as a spin off of another book series. Like
Yes.
the great and powerful Wizard of Oz. I can't remember the original first book title, but that that
I think
was
it
the
was,
first of a series.
yeah, because there was
So
their
Elf
son, right? Son of a
Oh,
witch.
yeah. And yeah, so Gregory Maguire's series, right? We've got Wicked to begin with, and then there are sequels. And
Mhm.
so you follow Elphaba's son.
Yeah.
So again, like there are places to go
But
with,
there's
because,
yes, there are places to go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I agree though that there's places to go. What I'm saying is you made a great adaptation of a stage play.
mm,
Let it be that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I'm
that's all I'm saying.
angry.
I agree. There's an infinite number of stories that we could go. And lest we forget Return to Oz, people, that is the stuff of nightmares.
I
don't you
never saw
sully the
it.
name of Farouja Balk.
I'm not, but her film is the stuff of
Return to Oz?
nightmares.
Yeah,
Have you-
I remember seeing that as a kid because my dad loved The Wizard of Oz. It was one of the first films he ever saw in theaters, and so he raised us on The Wizard of Oz, and when Return to Oz came out, I don't know why he showed this to me. I was terrified.
It's
These
There's like
pictures
mortifying.
there
are horrifying.
Kat, have you
yeah.
seen this movie?
No, even if I did, my trauma response was to ignore it. But there's like a pumpkin head in
Yeah.
this movie. Yeah.
Deb, can I interrupt you? I'm sorry for 1 second to speak on what the opening scene of this film, Kat. Dorothy what is she like 10 or 12 or something? And Fairuza Balk's like she's young.
Yeah.
Um, she's back with Auntie M and Uncle Baru. Wait, who I don't know and who is Uncle Joe and Auntie I don't anyway.
I want to say Roger. I can't remember.
Uncle Ben? I don't anyway.
Different.
She's with them and she's trying to tell them about Oz and they don't believe her. So they
Oh.
send her No, no. So they send her to counseling and they give her electroshock therapy.
Yeah. They
That
they they
can't be
commit her. They put
correct,
her in an institution.
Oh, it's correct. You can watch it on Disney Plus.
I
But what
literally
else were
was
they doing to women in the 40s that had an
right,
imagination?
Okay, fair
or
point.
had head trauma from being in a tornado.
That's,
Or
I'm,
that.
I'm just saying
The TBI.
that
So
movie is
many
terrifying.
reasons to commit women.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
no, it really, really is. And I mean you've got your like the real life threatening person, right? And that she then translates when she gets back to Oz into the new
Mhm.
villain and yeah, it's I found it deeply horrifying. Now I watched that I think over the summer because I just went on a kick and rewatched a bunch of things and um yeah, I don't know. It's like Oz is a wonderful place. Like it is when L. Frank Baum was creating it, and like writing all these books, it was the Victorian era. They were still, the Wild Wild West was still a thing. They were still
Mhm.
moving west across North America. And Oz was that place just beyond where they'd already gotten. It wasn't supposed to be a whole other planet. It was literally just beyond the place that we're trying to get to, but we haven't gotten there yet, which
Oh,
I think is a really beautiful
yeah.
kind
Like
of thing
almost
to motif. But um, there's so much we can do with it. There's so much, right? And we saw that in that first Wizard of Oz film. And I feel like we've as much as I criticize the stage play in the movie for leaving so much of the book out, and at the same time realize that there's only so much that you can put into a stage
right.
play or a
That
film
was a
or even a
thick.
film series. Yeah, the book is very, very thick. But I feel like the movie was able to honor the book in ways that the stage play couldn't, right? The
Mhm.
visual, they planted all those frickin' tulips, man. Those are
Did
literal
they?
non-CGI'd tulips. They made those fields. And I don't know, like just like they were really able to bring that to life and again to honor that first Wizard of Oz film, but expand on it because we have the technology and we have, their prototype to build
Mhm.
off of. So I don't know. I'm not as resistant to the idea of sequels. The cynical part of me is like, oh, Hollywood, right? Like they'll just cash in on the nostalgia porn and they will invest a little to make back a lot, no matter
Yeah.
what kind of quality they expect. They did it with, all those Star Wars spin-offs and whatnot, some of which I hear were good and some not so much. But like I just think that put in the right hands, we could get a whole series of movies that could actually be decent and just allow us to live in Oz bit by bit and see new places within it.
Yeah.
I,
It's
I oh, go ahead,
it's
Kat. Sorry.
incredible. No, it's just incredible like how much work they put into it without
Mhm.
CGI. Like the bubble was like that was all real and like these places are
What?
the
Seriously?
bubble wasn't real. The thing they used to carry her in was real,
Oh,
and like the yellow brick road and all that stuff, but yeah. No, yeah.
see, and it's that's why I give it such high marks as a series of two films together.
Right.
Um, I think, there were things about this one that I don't find beloved, but I do think
Mhm.
together they are one ridiculously good film. And I've heard people, oh, this is different than the first one. Well, because it's the play. This is where I argue about the sequels, right? They just took a pre-existing thing and gave it to you.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I'm stunned at how it works. And actually, what amazes me too, and Deb, you and I were talking about this when we came out. It amazes me because we were talking about it. Deb, you said to me, "Well, that he's very much Trump in this film."
Oh
And,
yeah.
and but the first film or the play rather when the play came out, because it's just a play, and maybe there's been some tweaks and comparative cultural things, but it was resonating with post 9/11 America. Like this is where the context comes from. The play
Right.
dropped in like 2004 or 2003, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
I
because
Well,
didn't know
and
that.
I think for this film, the references that people see in it are the ones from our real world.
yeah,
There are people all over, Facebook especially, right? These conservative Christians who think that Elphaba is their hero and that Oz are, the liberal Democrats or the demon rats, as they like to call them in some cases, right? Like there are ways to interpret it where, I mean, that's the point
Yeah.
of the wizard, right? He is the villain that is flying under the radar and he's
Hmm.
duping everybody. But I do appreciate his speech where, Elphaba is like, I will not rest until everyone knows what I know about
Yeah.
you. And
They'll never
his
believe you.
response is, they will never believe you. You can tell them, I can admit to everything until I'm, forgive me, blue in the face,
Yeah.
and they won't believe me, right? Like they don't want to.
Because they don't want to. That was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole like the very like old school propaganda,
Yeah, the
song and
banners.
dance film, the ragtime stuff. And I mean, and Elphaba she gets sucked into it for a minute, right?
Hmm.
Her and Glinda sitting on that little swing and, referencing back to that moment from the first film that was just so touching, right?
Yeah.
That dreams the way we planned them if we work in tandem, right? Like all they want to do is be together. And this is a
Hmm.
chance if she's willing to go along with this, because neither of the other two are willing to budge. But neither is she to a point, so she's just waiting to see if she can actually,
Trust
get
it.
her way enough if she goes along with this. And of course that, blows up and she gets extra angry. I like angry Elphaba. She's very satisfying.
Yeah. That was like people who are like, I don't want to say purist because that sounds ridiculous, but like that, isn't it wonderful? Like, isn't it wonderful? That's basically Ariana Grande right there for you. She
Sure.
doesn't sing that part. Like when they're singing together about that, I don't believe that happens in the play.
Do you remember who does?
Mhm. Let me think. And when I say think, I
you mean
remember,
couldn't
I
be
want to,
I
happier.
mean, Google.
yeah.
Couldn't be happier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's that same sentiment, right? It's like, look at how exciting it is. You need to be
Yeah.
excited. Otherwise, this plan won't work if you're not excited. It's wonderful. I couldn't be happier. You couldn't be happier. Marry me. Okay.
There's Glinda sings it, and there's no alphabet in that.
Okay.
In
But
the wonderful song with the wizard.
couldn't be happier, sorry.
No,
Right.
Glinda's
Yeah.
not
She's
there for
nowhere
that.
near that scene.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that specifically feel like it's very poignant today, which makes me sad because then it was poignant back then and back when the
Yeah.
book was written that people will believe what they want to believe,
Hmm.
and you're not going to tell them anyways. Even if, like, even politically now, right? Like with like Trump, like he could say, "Yeah, I was there. I was like part of those files. I did everything that I'm accused of," and people would say, "Oh no, he didn't. He was
They're
just
making him say it. He's
he's
under
being set
duress.
up."
He doesn't
Yeah,
know what he's saying. Now we
yeah.
believe he has dementia.
We'll take that over this. But yeah, it really hits home. Like, you know what? People will believe what they want to believe, whether you
Yeah.
put information directly in their face. If it doesn't make them comfortable, they're not going to do it. Which
What
is
do
why
you
Glinda has to keep going.
what do you think about the idea of truth in this film? Because coming to spin off that, because the wizard has some fascinating things that he says, like you said about them believing him. He says, um, "Oh, now I lost my place here. The truth is not a thing of fact or reason. The truth is what everyone agrees on."
Facts.
Mm,
But are
Or
they
are
facts?
they?
Okay. But this is what the whole film is, or the whole film, this, or at least this section is about.
Hmm.
Um,
It's so
I
sad.
I think it's true,
It
right?
is.
I mean, we all have a narrative by which we live. Like none of us exist solely within facts because there will always be things that we can't know.
Hmm.
And we have to fill in the blanks, right? I don't know that there is a person on earth, regardless of their frame of mind, how their brain works, how old or young they are. I don't think there's a person on earth who lives literally, completely 100%. Even if it's just because there are things that they don't know and they just kind of fill in the blanks, or because they're functioning off of things that, were told to them, or maybe they misunderstood. Like none of us know 100% what the truth is. And I think this is especially important within the context of religion, right? Because we often, they're like, it's so easy to take these religious narratives that we are raised in
Hmm.
100% literally. And then, we bump up against something that challenges one of the facets of our belief, and like everything feels threatening, and either the whole thing falls apart or we get really angry and double down and, destroy everyone in our path because, something that we thought might not be quite right. Um, and I mean, how much more so for politics, right? You just dedicate yourself to a way of being and you put your whatever resource you have, whether it's your vote or your voice or your time and energy, behind, you know, making sure the world is the way you see it or the way you want it. And I like it's never 100% based on fact, but our convictions compel us through those little blind spots, through the what ifs, and through through the places where we actually don't know, so we just choose not to look and we go somewhere else instead. Um, and so collectively, within our communities, within our societies, there are things that we want everyone to agree on, and we call that the truth, right?
Hmm.
So but like there are multiple political parties for a reason because we don't all agree on what the quote truth is. We don't all agree on what we want. And again, like within religions, you've got all like Christianity, right? Like we all have experience with Christianity here. And there are so many denominations, there are so many ways to come at the truth of God and the universe and all these things, but like we're never going to agree exactly on what all of those facets are. Um, so I love what Jeff Goldblum has to say about that. And I've come to a place in my life where I've sort of let go of the need to know everything. I think there's beauty in mystery, and I'm hoping that that makes me less easy to manipulate. I'm hoping that continues to allow me the freedom to step back every so often and go, yeah, I need to think about that. I'm not going along with that just yet. And maybe never. Um,
I think
because truth is a funny thing. It's not set in stone, and I don't think it can ever be.
right. And I would agree. I feel that there's truths and then there's what we create to be truths and what we are able
Mm.
to sit with. I know it even in speaking to colonization of the animals. We lived together. Like there's colonization all through our world, right? That people
Yeah.
have said, "Oh, we're doing this for the better. We're doing this for the better." And if people don't believe it's for the better, they have to face the atrocities that we have put on others in this movie, the animals, the indigenous people, like other countries and all of that, where we went in and said, oh, yeah, we were here, we made it better. And I feel like with truth and with everyone kind of like, you were saying, like it's woven in with this, but I feel like there's also, in truth, there's fear because people if you look back on anything, like what did they do with the animals? What did they do with colonization as a whole in the world? They based it all in fear. And if I don't
Mm,
believe this, my fear of what is the retaliation, or my fear is how I will have to look in on myself, is not something, it's also something like I'm going to put to the side, because
yeah,
we are politically fear-based. Religiously, I came from a Catholic background into Christianity, fear-based.
right.
Like, and that ultimate end of what will become of us, if someone can make us believe hard enough that they've got it under control, because I sure as heck don't.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where I would start. And if I think,
Hmm.
I feel like we put the truth in a little box on top of fear, on
To
top
cover
of,
it over.
yeah, to cover it
Pay
over.
no attention to the man behind
Yeah,
the screen.
exactly, right? The wizard, everyone's terrified of him. He's this massive, like,
Yeah.
even in the movie, right? Like this massive, he's got a deep booming voice. He tells you what things need to happen. And it's like, well, do you want to question him? Do you want to question the president? Do you want to, question the fact that we've ostracized and put into slavery these animals that used to walk beside us?
Hmm.
There has to be a reason. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to leave that in and run from the fear and make that truth, if that makes sense.
I'm glad you said that because I think that that's key. And I think it's interesting
Yeah.
too. I noticed it this time. Um, this film, going back to comparing the two films, I remember one of the things that I said, I think the first film is believing that everything is light and uncovering the dark. And the
Hmm.
second film is everything is dark and we're scrambling to find some light.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to this idea of fear, if you look at the color scheme, it within Oz, within the walls of Oz this time, the greens are just as vibrant as they are in the first film. They're still very bright, but when you get outside, they're they're much more muted. Like that
Mm,
first film, when you step into Oz in that film, it's like you're overwhelmed, you're flooded with color. The
Yeah,
colors are there, um, but they're
but
not.
it's darker.
They're darker. They're darker,
tarnished, would you
foreshadowy,
say?
Yeah.
tarnished. Except arguably the yellow brick road. I think you can see the yellow brick road everywhere as an extension of Oz.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow brick road is it's dirty when it's going in, but I think once it's in, it's still very bright. But the rest of it, it feels like there's sort of a layer of dust to me
Mm,
over. I could be wrong, but that's how I
Yeah.
feel about looking at it. And I think that says so much about the perception.
Right.
We're fine in here. We couldn't be happier, even though I know that
Mm-hmm.
some Munchkins that sing that. That's another song. But I mean, that's the perception, right? Oz is going to save us all
yeah.
without being willing to look outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which maybe is
Well,
why the outside is so barren.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you've got all an entire like that's the salt deserts, right?
yeah.
Like don't go there. And I guess that's why Elphaba is so powerful to me. She's willing to see past the sparkle and the shine,
Yeah.
because she is already seeing. I mean, she was born into the grit. She was born into that harsh reality. She was immediately rejected, just like for reasons that were completely out of her control. She did not have a choice of how she would look or how she was born. Like, and so she learned that from an early age. And as she matured, it went from, I know there's something wrong with me and maybe someone can fix it. She went into, there's actually nothing wrong with me. And the only problem is that I've needed to accept myself. I don't need to be fixed. In fact, I'm more than people expect from me, and I know exactly what to do with that power, right?
Mhm.
Like they give her a book that no one can read, and it just opens and shines for her. And
Yeah.
it's the confirmation that she needs, and for everyone else, like that they need to understand who she truly is. And that's why she's so scary. And then they have to put that spin, that mistruth
Yeah.
around her, that all the propaganda about how evil she is,
The fear.
because
Yeah.
she's offering that counter narrative that will completely destroy and disassemble everything that they've put together, and it will disempower them. It will knock them down off of the platform that they've built for themselves. She's threatening, and I like her.
And that's like the huge point of that too, is like her finding herself is like you're saying is when she's talking to Glinda at the before for good, she said, "Look at me, not through your eyes, through theirs."
Yeah.
And then that's when Glinda's like, "Oh,
Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she finds the limits, right? Like
yeah,
she's and I guess and I think that's what I loved about where the movie ends, like where we see Glinda's story and character go, is that
hmm
she takes up the mantle as someone who's a little more palatable to the society, a little more normative. She fits the bill, and they've manipulated her into that,
so much, yeah."
but it has given her power, right? And now she knows what to do with it because she's taken up the mantle that Elphaba has sort of handed over,
Right.
knowing that she'll never get to where she needs to be in order to, get all this done. And so I loved watching the end the second time because I didn't get this the first time. The
Yeah.
second time where you kind of like she goes and says to the Munchkin Landers like she explains the whole story and says like what we need to learn from this is that we need to work together, we need to live together, come out friends, right? And she brings the animals
hmm
into the foreground, and insists that we're all in this together, and it's not going to work unless we respect each other and learn how to live together. And there's so much power in that, right? She really steps into it. And at the very, very end, when the Grimmery opens for her
Yeah.
finally, like
She's actually
I
good.
the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, the book opened for magic, right? It'll open for just about anyone. But like the second time, I was
Yeah.
like, no, she
No.
took a
Grimmery is
journey.
easy.
The Grimmery's so easy unless you're the Wizard of Oz or Madame Morrible or all the other people who
Yeah.
tried to read it. Oh no.
That's
Yeah,
so
she really
beautiful.
needed to go on that power journey to land into a place where the higher power opened itself to her because she was able to meet it.
And there were talks about like I afterwards I did some like deep diving and stuff and it was they were talking to Ariana Grande and it's the biggest thing is that they're both singing at the same time and you see one in the desert and Glinda where she is, right? Like Elphaba where she is and they're singing together but you see Elphaba smirk and that's when she
Yeah.
sees the Grimmery open and so it's like there okay, this is going to sound weird, but it's true apparently, is that when you get those like buckets of popcorn, you know how they had the fancy ones, they had one of Oz, one of Glinda and a bubble, and then they had
Hmm.
the Grimmery.
Yes.
So if you got the Grimmery box, there is a close-up of the spell with the two hands in the movie. And the Grimmery is like a code breaker because if you go on the Wicked website, you break the code, and it actually explains more that the spell that was opened was a healing spell to help Glinda be able to heal from the loss of Elphaba and everyone around her and to be able to take on that mantle.
Oh,
And that's why she can read it because she's actually become good
yeah.
based on her decision making, but because everyone was like, "What?" And I was reading on it, but yeah, they apparently if you buy the $50 popcorn
I
box, you get
almost did that this weekend when I saw it the second time. I was like, do I
right.
want this Grimmery?
And on the Wicked
It's just a
website,
piece of tin.
they had a whole translation, like an alphabet translation. So
I
it
was
tells you
going to,
that
but I couldn't get it open.
that explains a lot.
You hang on to it. You
One
just need to go
day,
on your journey, Steve.
one day, Deb and I will sing to you from a desert.
It's true.
You'll be able to open it,
The
but
redheaded desert.
right? Like there were so many little things in there like that that
Yeah.
like were so cool. And like whether it was drawn out and it was a longer movie and it could have been cut down, there were so many Easter eggs
Yep.
throughout the whole movie. Like even the Yellow Brick Road, when he like has it and it's just like foam.
Yes.
Like it's just an illusion. Even this is just an illusion. But again, I looked on and I found out that they could not make the Yellow Brick Road the same as the one in the original movie because the Yellow Brick Road wasn't copyrighted, but the pattern of it was. Because in Wizard of Oz, it comes to a circle. You know how it comes into like,
with the red road as
yeah,
well.
and it like slowly comes to a point. And they couldn't do that, but they gave us like their version of it because it was so copyrighted, just like the shoes and
Yeah.
everything
Although
else, which is crazy.
to be fair, I think the shoes were, I could be wrong on this, so please feel free to fact check me. I thought the shoes were not always red. They were
Right.
supposed to be red. They were red
In
because
the
you couldn't see them well in the original film.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was they made them red because it popped more. So
Yes.
originally in the book they are diamond shoes because that's the
Right.
fanciest stone that
Yeah.
anyone
Which
can
is what
think of.
Which is what they
Nessa
are
wanted.
now.
Yes, but they when they were making the film, they were like diamonds are not shiny in like a colorful kind of way. We need a color.
We
And,
need a color.
like just to make, they're making a color film. Like, let's really do this. And so they made them ruby slippers.
Yeah. Yeah, in the original. And so they give nods like when Glinda's doing the popular song and she like
Popular
shows
song.
her the red shoes and like all
She
of
even
that.
clicks them together.
Yeah. So it's just a crazy nod to it.
You
The
know what is
nod
actually
to
crazy though? Why is Dorothy wearing heels with ankle socks?
right?
Please, please. They drove me crazy.
It was
Even when I
probably
went back and watched
fashionable.
The Wizard of Oz, I was like, why? Is this what we did in the 40s? Sorry, rant over.
I think it was what they did, but
I don't
I
like
even
it.
remember wearing them to my baptism. I had little white heel with like shoes, and or not my baptism, my first communion, and I had the like fluffy white socks.
But were you
I don't
wearing
like,
heels?
yeah, and like they were like this big,
Ooh,
but I was like
fancy
clack clack clack
Catholics.
clack clack. And right, the fancy Catholics. It looked like my leg was wearing a like a Victorian
The little
neckerchief.
cuff, the
Yeah,
ruffle.
I like how they didn't show Dorothy's face.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's copywritten, but like
No, but
they keeping her.
in the play, they don't do that either. In fact, she doesn't even appear.
No, she
She's a
doesn't. She has
shadow.
nothing to do with.
There's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
But
here's the truth. If you show her face, she becomes interesting.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
true.
she's not the point.
She's
Yeah,
not the
she's
point.
not the point. In the fear-basedness of it, one of my friends brought up a good point where in The Wizard of Oz, when the witch melts, doesn't Dorothy doesn't know that she will die if water touches her. So
No, and
it's
she's not
actually
throwing water on her.
he's
It's
throwing
because
it
the
on the
witch has set fire to the scarecrow and she's trying to
yes.
throw the water onto the scarecrow to put him out.
Exactly. And so that didn't happen in the movie. So a
There
lot
was
of
no
people,
fire in the movie.
there was no fire. It was just they had buckets of water when they were like when the Tin Man was going on his, I guess, heartless tirade. Like they had water that they were filling up. But everyone's like, but Glinda would know that she's not dead because she knows she's not gonna get killed by water. But nobody says she doesn't, because in the first movie, Madame Morrible covers her with an
Yeah.
umbrella when it rains. Can't have you melting. And so it's almost like that fear mongering kind of like got put
Yep.
in people's brains too. Like no one ever said that she would melt. But that
Including
little
Elphaba, especially Elphaba.
right? And so everyone's like, well, why would Glinda think that she's dead when she knows she won't melt? But does Glinda know really? No.
Yeah, I had that same thought, and I think the point of it is that the lies about her have
Yeah.
spread so
Yeah.
much that Glinda doesn't know for
Even her
sure.
best friend is like, I guess if they say she's dead, then she's melted, and I see her hat
Yeah.
here. She has to be dead.
Yeah. I think that that's yeah, I because I wondered that as well, but I
Which
think
makes
you're
me
right. I think
wonder
it's
how
just
she
that
showered.
what's that?
How do you keep yourself clean as someone who will melt in water?
She never had. She's
Well, in the book,
Yeah.
she does it with olive oil. She cleans herself with
Oh,
oil.
that's
So
right.
there are ways. But my question is, like, if you never see your roommate from college, like on her way to or coming back from the shower, But you don't smell her. Does it really matter?
Yeah, really doesn't.
You
But
know,
yeah,
it's
that fear
it's
and that rumor that you were saying, Steve, just is so ingrained that people are willing to say, "Yeah, someone told me that this is gonna kill her, so let's do it."
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how that stuff can actually shape the way that we view the world. Just if enough people say it, it goes back to that idea of truth, right? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe
Hmm.
I'm wrong.
Just look at Facebook for 5 seconds. Everyone's got some freaking conspiracy theory going on.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
sometimes, and I guess what Elphaba ends up doing is using it to her advantage,
Yeah.
right? So if like it becomes a superpower and she gets to play into that narrative and use it so that she
Hmm.
can escape. And like Fiyero, for whatever reason, knows, right? That
Yeah.
so like there's one point where, as captain of the guard, he's, pointing a gun at Elphaba and he screams for all of the soldiers to go and get water as much
Yeah.
as you can carry,
Yeah.
right? So he's playing into that, and but for whatever reason, like it's his castle that she's living in and where, the
Yeah.
death scene happens. And so, those two things like come into play where there's a place for her to hide, which I'm sure he's told her about.
Yeah.
And, the whole wall. And if you'll notice, the bucket of water that Dorothy used, right when she's talking to Glinda before they sing for good, she's pouring the water into
Yeah.
the
That's
bucket and
right.
sets it up. So it's a plan.
That
It's
hit me.
all
Yeah.
it's all set up. And so yeah, Fiyero was in on it, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that was some pillow talk or whatever it
Because
was.
he sends her the sleeve with the flying monkey, and Glinda thinks it's proof that he's dead.
Right.
But people speak to the fact that that's where the plan came from. It's that he actually
Mm,
sent her a note on this piece of cloth,
okay.
which don't even get me started on that costume with the one arm missing. When I first saw it, when he first came on screen, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. When did he lose an arm? Like, but it's just the sleeve hanging off the side. Yeah.
Well, it was sort of like a contorted, like, there was a strap connecting the two sides, and so yeah, I don't know. It was a fashion choice. I
It was a
don't know how
choice, yeah.
practical it
Choice.
was.
And when she gets it, she says to Glinda, we will not look on his face again. She does not say he's dead,
That's true, yeah.
because we
She
will not
doesn't.
look on his face again.
Which is also
Because it
true
will
in
be
the fact
Which is
that
covered
he
in
is the
also
burlap.
true
scarecrow.
from a certain point of view.
Oh, see, that always that, say that. You're beautiful. I'm just looking from a different, what is it, like a
Yeah,
different.
that was, I don't know whether that
I'm
was
like, that's
romantic
an
or
insult,
insulting.
bro. That's not.
It's it's not that you're ugly. It's that you're beautiful from a different point of view.
Yeah,
I can learn to look at you.
if I squint really well,
That's right. You're so pretty. I love
sure.
it.
So much easier when I wave my hand in front of
That's
our
right.
faces.
That killed me. They said
Yeah,
it twice.
not my favorite. Well, I took pleasure in the fact that, like, if that was shade, she got to throw it right back at him
Yeah, exactly. Because they
after
never
turning
did.
him into a burlap man
Right.
and
Oh
his
my
crazy
God.
hair with the corn wheat chief sniff.
We were laughing because it's like you give the Tin Man that look, and then you give him this like crazy freaking weird CGI. We were making a lot of jokes about him being a scarecrow, but when they
It wasn't CGI, it was makeup.
oh
Fiero's face was makeup. That I don't know want to know how long he had to sit in that damn chair.
get in there. That's insanity. But
Yeah.
she was right when she said we will never look upon his face again because they never did. He became the scarecrow. And he was,
Yeah.
like,
And now he's the sexiest scarecrow alive,
is he?
voted by People
Alive.
magazine. That's
Do you know what I love? That everyone in that movie was queer. So that love scene between Fiyero and Cynthia Erivo, they would have never been attracted to
is
each other.
everyone? I don't think
Not
everyone.
everyone, but like
Wait a
Fiyero,
minute.
Cynthia Erivo, Nessa Rose,
Oh, I didn't
and
know
there's
that.
like yeah, there's
Jonathan
like a
Bailey.
yeah, Jonathan Bailey. So there's so we were like, this is hilarious because I guess you would have to look through at someone through a different eyes.
You would. I mean, but I feel like that's a testament to their
Oh
performances,
my
right?
gosh,
Because
they're brilliant.
I found their chemistry really strong and
Yes.
really compelling.
Yes.
Um, I I actually that the scene where they're singing "As Long as You're Mine,"
Yeah.
it brought to mind for me more than once Mimi and Roger from Rent. And I'm
Mm.
still working through that. So for my music theater, from the
Hmm.
90s passion friends, yeah, Mimi and Roger in Rent are, two neighbors squatting in an abandoned warehouse, and fall in love, but there's complications. And
Yeah.
when they're finally able to like have the conversation and be like, yes, we're going to be together. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it was just because they were, up in a tree house, you know, and
In a
like
tattered robe.
or something. A friend of mine referred to Elphaba's like sweatery, you know, shawl thing as her sex cardigan, which
Yeah,
was
that's
kind of
what they call
funny.
it online.
That's what they're calling it. Yes, I've
And
heard
she may
that.
have not made it up.
He's
Um,
like,
Someone was like, "This is far too pedestrian and normal for Elphaba." I'm like, "She's allowed to wear whatever she wants. That's the
right?
point." And it gets cold in
Pedestrian.
the treehouse, I bet.
And in a way, it normalizes her,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, she's just a girl. She's
yep.
just a girl with
With
a ratty
feelings.
sweater that she won't get rid of, right? Like,
Yeah.
all of us have one of those.
Yep.
I have a t-shirt that has more holes in it than t-shirt, but I just keep it wearing it because I love it.
You
Like
just
it's
hang on.
yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I found Cynthia Erivo and Jonathan Bailey's performance in that scene powerful. I
Yeah.
believed that they were in love. I
Yeah.
believed that they were super attracted to each other. And in when they're chatting afterwards, right, when the scene moves on to, you know, there's even just talk of like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see you again. Like,
Yeah.
I know that we're not gonna, get married and run away together. So
Right.
maybe this is it and we just have to enjoy it. Like there was a lot about that relationship that I
But
appreciated.
it's
Even though it's
it's
not like how they are in the book.
right. I know, right? But it is such a huge testament. Like, say what you will about the movie and like how it was made or what it should have taken or not taken. You can't take away that cast,
Yeah.
like Elphaba, Glinda, like Fiero, those they were masterful in this.
Yeah.
And the fact that those two women sang live when they were
Yeah.
recording and Cynthia Erivo sang while doing stunts on the broom
In a corset.
in a corset painted green. Like she
Yeah.
sang those notes and she hit those notes. And same with Ariana and
Da, da,
Ariana
da,
and
da.
Piero. They sang those.
Yep.
But see,
Also,
Yeah.
this is
go
what
ahead,
I'm
please.
saying. I'm sorry. Sorry, boy, I'm interrupting today. I
You're
apologize.
not. I'm talking too much.
Never. But no, this is what I'm saying about the film. We can nitpick things we
Yeah.
liked or didn't like. This is why I keep going back to it being such an epic achievement because you can nitpick things, but my word, everything works.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
performances are incredible, the direction is incredible, the set pieces are incredible, the detail is incredible. This
Hmm.
is as close to an epic saga for the musical theater that you're going to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
And they nail it.
Just like just like the Wizard of Oz was at their time period. Like it was an epic, like mind-blowing. Technically, I mean, there was a lot of dark stuff going on
Yeah, there
behind
was.
that filming, like a
Sure.
ton. But like the
But as a
amount of
film,
effort.
sorry, I was affirming you. I was saying, but
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
film,
There is so much horrible dark stuff going on in there.
Yeah. There always is, right?
I
There's
know.
always stuff that we uncover later and it makes us question whether or not we can like the original piece of art
Yeah.
afterwards. But life is complicated, right? And so we all have to decide for ourselves,
Right.
knowing about the stuff, paints the art enough.
right?
It's
I
hard.
think you froze.
She did a little bit, but
Oh
But she,
no, I was
oh,
saying something really deep.
we heard you. That's the good part. But you were like this the whole time.
Okay.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, I was just told my connection is unstable. Not the only thing in here that's unstable.
but
But I'm
Hey.
um, before we end up becoming a two-part
yeah.
epic podcast ourselves, I think this is a good place for us to wrap.
Hmm.
Sure.
Let's screen it or skip it. Wicked for good, screen it or skip it.
Oh, I would say screen it for sure.
Yeah, definitely screen it. No question.
I
Steve.
no. No. I just
You
go
say
the other
skip
way.
it.
I'd rather watch Lord of the Rings.
I really wouldn't. Um, no, it's a screen it for me. I mean, I don't want this. I don't think anybody who's interested in this should see it for the first time on their TV.
No, no.
Mm,
Sit in it.
especially if you've seen the first one, you
Yeah.
kind of have to. Like, you need to see it at least once to decide for yourself. And then I would urge you to see it again so that you connect more of the dots like I did.
I'm gonna see it again on December 5th, but it'll be on
Atta girl.
TV. It'll be a TV one, but
Oh,
I've seen it on the big screen, so
make it a bigger TV.
right?
Projected on the wall. There you go.
You
Hey,
should.
I love it.
Now, I think we should all sing our favorite song from the movie because we'll all
We'll represent the lollipop
Oh
to
my
the
Wrong
lollipop.
film!
Great. On that note, Steve, we're done. Honestly, I couldn't get through it without crying. I was like,
Yeah, obviously. Because you have a heart, unlike our Tin Man friend.
right?
Are you talking about me? Because I didn't cry. No.
No.
Did I tell
Oh,
you, even a
Steve.
friend said that the way they set up for good for Glinda to take her really high pitch and bring it down, and for Elphaba to kind of go up a bit, shows what they've given each other in that
Yes.
balance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's brilliant. I mean,
Yep.
not
And
all of
that's
it,
why you
but
have to have two really strong singers in both of
yeah,
those roles, because you need range, girl.
that developed a very uncomfortable friendship and relationship during press tours.
Yeah.
It wasn't
And
uncomfortable for them. They seemed
no,
fine. It's everyone else that they're, making uncomfortable.
yeah,
But that says more about the uncomfortable people than it does about the two of them.
But see, that's the song from the next film. Uncomfortable. You're gonna be uncomfortable.
they're gonna touch each other so much, touch your face.
And cry a lot.
Yeah.
You'll be holding space and uncomfortable.
True.
Is it truth or
Well,
fear? We'll never know.
that's the journey,
I
folks.
have such a deep appreciation for you both. I have absolutely loved this, and you have changed me for good.
Aw.
Um,
Well,
and
I'm the
clearly,
same. I'm just kidding.
at
um,
least some of us have.
do you want the opportunity to have people try and follow you on the interwebs, or should I just go to ours?
Oh yeah, Deb
Uh,
maybe.
no. My socials are really boring, and
And
it's
yeah,
like pictures I take of food and the clouds, and no.
right.
There, for professional purposes, there's no reason.
Well, you can follow us.
And I think you should follow Screenfish.
You should. Don't follow us. Follow them.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. No, I'm just
We're busy defying gravity.
kidding. Ooh.
um,
Just you and I.
well, I don't
Wrap
know.
it up, Steve. Let's go.
Please follow us. Go to screenfish.net for the latest in reviews of incredible projects like this. And you can follow us on Instagram at Screenfish Online and the same on the Tickety Talks. Or you can like and subscribe to us on YouTube, where you have incredibly Wonderful conversations with wonderful people like these two wonderful people here.
That's us.
Well, and
You
also
feel like he didn't
lots.
believe us.
That's right.
He's like,
Lots of incredible interviews with industry professionals, as well as they talk about their latest projects. Um, but as I've said before, I am so grateful to have had this time with you both, and for you at home. We started the conversation. This was Screenfish.